Estie Rand, welcome to the Marketing Study Lab podcast.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
So am I. I'm so glad you said yes, you'd come on. But just because I'm not excited doesn't mean you get away from having a random opener chucked at you. So my random opener for you is, what is giving you a headache right now?
What is giving me a headache right now? That is so vague. To do with business, to do with the world at large.
No, let's not do the world at large. What is giving you a headache in business right now?
In business right now, what gives me a headache is people thinking that the sneakers are the runner.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. I think I've got my phrase for the podcast already. Fantastic.
Because, if I only got this thing and I paid for that thing and I got this thing, I'd be fantastic. No, you need to learn how to run. It can enhance, it can help, it can make it more comfortable. But if you haven't practiced, you don't know what you're doing, the sneakers won't make the difference.
All the golfers in the world are going, oh, no, don't tell me that. I've just got some new clubs. No. Fantastic. I love that analogy. Let's move on to more serious things. Bring us up to speed. What's your story that has brought you to this point in your career, and what are you up to right now?
Sure. So back in 2011, I was actually working as the CIO of a multinational nonprofit. I loved my boss. I loved my job. I had flex time, which was so important to me because I had 3 little kids at the time. Okay. I now have 5 children. And I'm one of these weird people who really just wants to have it all. I want to have the family, the career, the life, the enjoyment, the lifestyle. I just got back. I was in Cancun for about a week and a half in Mexico just now. Hence the tan, which I don't know if everyone can see. So I wanted it all. And at my job, I had it. It was going well until they hired this middle manager who was just absolutely toxic, like a bull in a china shop. We were running a skeleton team, these massive budgets, very intense. And he just came in and he was like, well, Estie, your team is my team and you're my new secretary. Like, no. Misogyny is not even the word. Forget it, okay? But I was like, actually, I'm the new leading person. Bye. And I was terrified. I'd been working there for 6.5 years. I was the primary supporter of my family. I had no idea where money was going to come from. I just couldn't do it. I was crying every day. I'm not a crier. It was horrendous. And at the time, we're going back a decade now. Small businesses were just starting to pick up. Right now, we're in the boom phase, and it's only still getting bigger right now. But then it was I'd be sitting in a restaurant, and I'd hear these people going oh my gosh, you're so good. You're professional. You should really sell those cupcakes for $1. And I was I can't. This physically pains me, I've been running businesses profitably since I'm 10 years old. I have a business degree from a top business school in New York, marketing and management and modern advertising communications. I was I'd be sitting there listening. I'm I can help you. I can, you don't know what you're doing. And I just had this insane passion to help these little tiny micro businesses. But again, we're going back to 2011, right? Business consulting was not a thing in small and micro business world. It was you either had what it took to be a business owner or you didn't, right? So big companies, they might hire someone for help, but a little company, it's either you have it or you don't. And so I did not know what I was going to do. I needed a real job. So I was interviewing. And at one point, one of the people who interviewed me, I still remember, I'll never forget this. She was a former McKinsey consultant who's now doing HR recruiting from her living room. And I was just idolized her. I was you work for McKinsey. I want to do business consulting, but now you're doing this work-life balance. You have it all. I just the penultimate, and at one point she looks at me, she's Estie, what's really the dream? What do you really want to do? And I was I'm going to confide in her. She's going to help me. She's going to tell me how to do this. I'm getting all excited in my head. And I'm well, honestly, I see all these little businesses. They want to sell on Etsy. They want to do massage therapy. It's really hard to make a living now. We're still coming out of the 2008 recession. And I know I can help them. I know I can. She looked at me and she's Estie, no one will take you seriously. No one will pay you for your advice. You need another 20 years C-level experience before anyone hires you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really nice of her. She was obviously wrong, right?
Confidence
Yeah.
booster.
Yeah, but I was shredded. I was absolutely, utterly. I remember I came home crying. There's a lot of crying those days. Tears streaming down my face. I remember staying by one of the windows in my kids' room, like the sun is streaming in and just tears and tears because my dream, like everything that I wanted was just, shredded by someone who obviously knew better. I had no idea what I was doing. I've done business because I went to business school. They don't teach business consulting, teach you business. But I couldn't let it go. I took 3 jobs. I started doing it on the side, and slowly it grew, it grew, it grew. I grew the company to 6 figures profit in under 2 years. Did that 3 times because I kept moving countries. And a couple of years back, we hit my dream. Full service, multinational consulting company. We have clients on 6 continents, staff in 7 time zones. And I get to live my dream, which is helping other people live theirs.
Fantastic.
So
That's brilliant. Was there a moment, and I know you said right now, you live your dream and you've hit that, but was there a moment where, because a lot of people that are listening will be like, well, if only I had that, not kind of the sneakers, but I mean, well, if only I could be in that position, if only I could get to there and then it's never enough. Was there that moment where you were like, yes, this is working and it's going to work and I'm going to get there?
There were a lot of moments
like
that. There's no one moment. I think, people look for a level of certainty in business that doesn't exist. I had a call with a client a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of laid out like a sales roadmap for her. Like for me, I marry marketing and sales. In a micro business, they have to look, branding, marketing, and sales to me all go together. In a larger company, you can separate them a little bit as long as they sync. And I've worked with some bigger companies to sync those up. But so we laid out an entire path, like from branding through the marketing, through the sales. And she's like, okay, that's very similar to what I've been doing. I'm like, right. We highlighted a couple of nuances, but this was the culmination of our work together. She's like, I just thought there was something more. Like there is no level of certainty in business like that. They're breadcrumbs, right? You're looking for an entire bakery. It's not. Breadcrumbs. So as you go, each little thing that comes and it works and you get a referral and then the client's really happy with you and you do this thing, you just feel good inside. Like, you've really served. Some of what I do is I'm a certified professional coach also for over 12 years. So it's a blend of coaching, consulting, teaching. When a client comes into me and his shoulders are hunched, it looks like the weight of the world on his back. And by the time we're done, he's standing straight, crown to sky. That's it. Those are my moments. Those are when a client puts out whatever I have them do in marketing and they get a response. I don't even need them to sign the deal, but they get a response in a way they've never gotten a response before. I know it's working. People look for the giant things. It's not, it's the little things. And they waste so much time and energy waiting for the big thing that they miss the little things that would be the trail to their giant successes. My first $15,000 contract, I remember being like, oh my God. Like, did I just do that? Did I just sign more than $10,000? Like, I was like shaking, Now I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm not going to go into details, but you can climb any ladder, just not 14 rungs at a time. Celebrate every little thing. Look for the tiny successes because those can give you that moment of pause of, hey, this is working.
Yeah. I love that. I think I've mentioned this guy a couple of times. He's called Joe Wicks, and he goes by the body coach. He's more popular in the UK, and he always tells the story that he used to hand out flyers outside a subway station, underground in London, for his personal training. And this is going way back, and sometimes it was pouring down with rain, and sometimes he'd get nobody come into his class, which he ran in a park because he couldn't afford anywhere. And it was that small steps, and now he's multimillionaire. He's all over YouTube. He's got books. He does loads of stuff, and it's just that if you were to see him, it's that success overnight thing. Well, it was easy for you because you ran some classes, you got on YouTube, and you were a success overnight. Not seeing the rest of it, and you can just see where those small breadcrumbs have come for him and the little bits that he did.
Totally, and it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Absolutely.
Everyone will tell you that. Everyone will tell you that. I like to think of it as bamboo. And what I've been working on this past years more like that. So bamboo can shoot up. It can grow, I think, I don't know, 6 or 10 feet in a matter of days or a week, because it spends 3 years
Huh.
building the rhizome underground for that kind of growth. So when someone's an overnight success, it's because of what they've been doing underground that you haven't seen. My first workshop that I ever ran, when I was trying to start, as part of what I teach, how people can use their swan strength to reach their bees, which is a whole other conversation. But basically using my own swan strength to reach my bees is how I kicked off my business. And I use speaking. And I put out like a little ad, special business. I thought everyone, because everyone's trying to do this thing, I'm figuring like, 100 people are going to call. They're going to be so excited. And 2 people reached out. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't about the money, right? I don't care, but I can't run a class for 2 people. That's pathetic. So, I called them both back and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to reschedule. No one cares. And, but a ton of people saw that ad. So I never ran the class. People asked me, oh my gosh, I saw the class. How was it? I was like, it was great. And I was home sleeping. It was fantastic. It went amazing. But it's not their business. I have to tell them, people think they have to like share all of their sob stories, and to share all their failures. Like, says who? Why do I have to tell everyone that I never ran the class? It was great. It was great that 2 people wanted to sign up. I canceled them both and I had an early night. It was fantastic.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it was great.
People
feel like they got to share it all, and I had these people, shut up.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's slightly different in the UK because we're more conservative. And the one thing that always gets me is if you speak to somebody in business or that works for a different company or whatever it is, and you say, how's business been? And it's always the same answer. Not too bad. Not too bad. And it's like, that means it's terrible. It's utterly terrible. Never say not too bad, because if it was fantastic, you'd go, it was amazing. And if it's terrible, then you're never going to go, oh, honestly, business, we're going under. It's just like, so there is that level of honesty, but sometimes I just think, be honest, not too honest, but be more honest than, it's not too bad. That's just sitting on the fence for me.
Totally. I would say even more, say the truth in advance, because you kind of are, right? So if you say it's not too bad, it's going to kind of stay not too bad, because that's your whole attitude towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe it is fantastic. Says who? Says, because you think life is that short that whatever you see today is the end of the story?
Yeah.
Right? How many turnaround stories? Listen to them all day and all night. And it can turn around in a second. So why not say fantastic? Because tomorrow it might be. Say the truth in advance. It's fantastic. The fact that something's falling, like we just shut down one of our key departments. We have 3 departments in the company. We shut down one of them for very specific, well thought through reasons. I'm excited. I don't know what's next with it. It's going to be interesting, but things are already starting to move and shift where I see that they might be moving more from, logos and brandings, like we had a whole implementation department, moving into creating online courses for people, but hands-on, like actually taking someone with their knowledge, and it is a premium offer, but no one's doing this at a really high level. There are a lot of people. I'm not finding people who will take you from knowledge to profitable running program. And so that's starting to come our way. And I have this whole department ready to go of people. So, I could say, it's tough. It's really tough. I just shut down a department in my company. Just didn't make sense for us anymore. And it was profitable, just wasn't as profitable as the other parts. And it was more of a headache than it needed to be. Or I could tell you, it's fantastic. All these new things are coming. I'm so excited. We're in the middle of a great transition. It's all about your attitude.
Yeah. And it's amazing how much that mindset actually affects you. And it does. And I don't think people give enough credit. It was a couple of years ago, but it was one of those where it just clicks for you. And I just thought, if it's physically possible, then the only thing that's stopping you is inside your brain. That's it. There are some things, but
Roger Bannister.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like the most classic example. Once he did it, was 11 people did it within that year?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, that was physically impossible. Suddenly was physically possible for a whole bunch of people, because it's only ever in your head.
Yeah.
That your only limitation is between your ears.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so I thought this might happen, and we've gone slightly off track, but I absolutely love it. It's so much wisdom. It's amazing. So what I want to do now is go into some actionable tips, if you like.
Sure.
And when I was looking at what we could talk about amongst a whole host of things, was one article you wrote recently for Entrepreneur. And that was, I'm reading this, by the way, marketing money wasters. And there was like 6 marketing money wasters, and I was reading them, and I just thought it would be great just to go through them.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of people will be doing these things and maybe not even knowing, but they will be doing them. I almost guarantee it. So the first one on this list, it's probably a fave of mine, if not the favorite on the list. So let's start with it. It's starting with logos and branding.
Yes. Because people think that a logo makes a business, like shoes make a runner, right? Like if I have a good logo and I have good branding, so I have a good business. Right? All that is a graphical representation of what's meant to be unique about you. If you've never sat down and really thought through what is special about your business, and also part of the mistake is that people start with it, right? They don't go out there, try to start working. And again, a service business is different than a product-based business, but today we've got Kickstarter, right? There are a ton of product-based businesses that earn tons of money before they ever build a brand, quote unquote. Get out there, see if people want what you're selling, see whose problem you're solving, see what you do to solve it that's different than anybody else. Figure out what is special about you, and then you can create a graphical representation of that. But when you start with that imagery, it's meaningless. So people sink a ton of money, time, energy into it. Then they put out this brand. Nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. It means nothing, but it's pretty. Cost them, $300, $3,000, $30,000, whatever. There's a huge price range. It's just a waste. It's a waste because you haven't realized that all that is a representation of the thing that you didn't figure out. And when you figure that thing out, the logo doesn't matter as much. We advise our program participants who are more like, newer or smaller businesses, is you do a makeshift logo when you start out. Yeah. You got Upwork, you got Fiverr. My first logo came from Vistaprint. Okay. I got my business to 6 figures profit on a Vistaprint logo, which meant I picked one of their designs. I screenshotted the little vector image from it, and that was my logo for like 4 years.
Love it. And
so it's not the logo.
I think if you look back as well, maybe not some of the tech giants, but if you look back and you look at any more well-established brand or established logo, then most of them aren't that good. Most of them aren't that pretty, you wouldn't choose them for various reasons, but it's almost like that doesn't matter. That doesn't sway your judgment in terms of whether those products that have been around for decades, if not hundreds of years, are any good or not. It's the actual products that do it. Then that is the symbol that
the marketing and branding interface, right? So the brand is who you are, what's unique about you. Your logo, your name, your tagline, all these things people get stuck on. It's just the representation. It's the sneakers, right? So if you know what's unique about you, what you're about, who you serve, the problem you solve for them, you could build a whole business without a logo. And people, they try to cover up their lack of insights of real value with like this pretty shell. And it's just a waste. It doesn't help. When you really have something, like you're saying, we don't not buy something because the logo is bad. We get used to it. But to me, the essence of why it's a mistake is you start with that. You can't start there. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. And we have very specific pathways that we teach. You want to be one of and a little different. Like there are specific things that you can do with it, even at a very inexpensive level, to make it work really well. But you can't start there. You have to start somewhere else. And that's on your unique value. What are you bringing to the table and who you're bringing it to the table for? When you start there, go ahead, make a pretty logo afterwards. It matters, doesn't matter, who cares?
So a perfect example of that is the London Olympics. And their logo was, I personally think it was terrible. It got slated. They spent a lot of money on it, and it got slated. You ask anybody, majority of people in the UK, was that a good Olympics? Is it memorable? Absolutely 100%. Logo doesn't come into it because, like you say, it's this little thing that somebody's drawn.
This little thing, yeah. People have to stop taking, it's anytime people focus on the externals versus the internal, A loser is a loser even if they wear a fancy suit. And the cool person's cool even if they're wearing rags. It's the person. Well,
I
the
like
clothes
that.
and hands, they help, but someone cool who like your clothes all got ruined, they put on something dorky, they're still cool. And you dress up someone who's super socially awkward, they're still socially awkward. Like you didn't fix it.
You got to own that socially awkwardness, though. That's the
If
thing.
you
That is,
do, then you're already cool.
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
That's the confidence. Coolness is really just confidence for the most
yeah.
part.
I like it. Okay, number 2. Actually, I love them all, but this one as well. Started a company, need a website.
Yeah.
Need a website now.
Now, I don't know what I do. I don't know what I sell. I don't know who I sell to. I don't know what it costs, but I need a website now because if I make a website, people will buy whatever it is I think I'm selling. You don't know what, and I work primarily with service businesses, right? That's my specialty. So if you have products, okay, you do manufacturing, calculate pricing, fine. You go to Shopify or BigCommerce or any of them, you make a website, fine. But for service business, where it's like, they don't know exactly what they're selling or what they're doing. They don't have their messaging. They don't have, and they're like, I need a website. I remember in my early days, we made a website for this woman. Let's say it was a therapist. I always blur examples. And I remember we made the website for her and we put it live and she's like, okay, when does my phone start ringing? I'm like, honey, it is not 1997. No one's going to find you because we put up a website. Like we built a marketing strategy. So part of what we do is marketing strategy, right? How are you going to get people? But people have this thing still today. Well, if I put up a website, people will come. What? How do you think someone's finding your website? How? Oh, but it's there. What do you mean there? Do you find every website that's there? You just, they don't think. But I need a website. Why? Why? Because everyone else has one. And if they all jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you? Right? As my mom used to say.
Yeah. And that leads us nicely on to number 3. Using a one-size-fits-all social media strategy.
Oh, this makes me so mad. I think of all of them, this probably makes me the maddest. Because it's... Yeah, this probably makes me the maddest. Because each social media platform is different. Right? I talk about them like parties. Your website, that's your house. People come to you. You decorate it, create a certain pathway, a certain environment that's conducive to what you want people to do there, and you have to be strategic about it. But social media, there are these parties going on. They're all different kinds of parties. So you wouldn't wear the same thing to a wedding that you wear to a little kid's birthday party, that you wear to a slumber party, that you wear to your college reunion. You wouldn't. But people do that. They're like, they figure out one thing, and it makes it even matter when companies sell this, right? And they use these auto posters, and they write one post, which isn't good for any platform, but it's got some sort of gobbledygook in it. And then they, splice it out. They use Hootsuite. I don't care what they use, and they splice it out to 15 places. And to me, it's like if you had a restaurant on a main avenue, and every city's got like these areas where like all the restaurants are, and you're like, okay, I gotta open my restaurants. Like, you know what you're serving? I gotta open the restaurant. It's got this big glass window and everyone's walking by and there's no one inside. Because they post to all these platforms and you've got 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 engagement, but you're on all the platforms. It's like, yeah. And you're showing everyone who checks you out that nobody cares. So someone once said to me, yes, would you rather I not be on Twitter? I said, yeah, I would much rather. Like right now, I've had my Twitter account open since 2012 and I have a total of 0 posts. I've never used it. I have it. You can find me there, but I've never used it because I don't hang out there. So why would I share? I post other places, right? I've been on LinkedIn, been sleeping there for a little bit, still using my Instagram. I stopped using Facebook 3 years ago. Check me out on Facebook. You see, the last thing I posted was probably 2-3 years ago. I'm not there. Why am I? But Estie, why don't you share your Instagram post to Facebook? Why would I? I'm not there. I'm not at that party. It won't work. It won't work. Why would you? Because you need to be everywhere. Why? Because you do. Why? Oh, because the big companies are. Oh, because you think you're Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And how well is Coca-Cola doing on their social media strategy? Pfft. Come on. The people that make it on social media are people that live, eat, sleep, and breathe a single platform. And those people, if you look at them, right, you look at some of the biggest YouTube stars, their Instagram stinks. Some of the biggest Instagram stars, their LinkedIn is a joke, and they try. And the Facebook people try to jump to LinkedIn or to YouTube, same. So I'm not saying, so a multi-platform strategy has to be very platform specific, right? One of the things that we do in the company, I have different people that run each platform that we use. I don't use the same person. I'm and I post different content. So people who follow me, they follow me in different places. Someone even messaged me, it's like, Estie, I follow you in all these different places because you do different stuff everywhere. I said, that's right. I do. Because it's appropriate different things are appropriate in different places.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm traveling, I'm on Instagram, I'm like, okay, now I'm in Mexico, okay, now I'm in Miami, like, here I am. I'll do it on LinkedIn. Who cares? Hey, from Mexico. Thanks, Estie. Like, thanks for letting us know.
Just
Now
give us
you really made my day.
give me some more valuable business content, please.
Exactly.
I'll go over there for that kind of stuff.
But on Instagram, they love it. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, where are you now? What are you doing now? What are you eating? Can you take a picture of your food?
Yeah, where's your food? I need your food.
Where's your food? Where's your food? So there is no such thing as a one size fits all. You can't do it. You got to pick one place, master it, then you want to expand to another one, fine. But people waste so much money because they can never figure out all the platforms. They hire someone who thinks, again, I'm not even talking about the people who are just, you know, malicious and lying. There are people who genuinely don't understand this, and they sell social media services where they'll put you on all the platforms, and they think the fact that they've checked all those boxes and they've put a post on all these places means that their service is worth money. It's not. It's absolutely not. It does nothing for you. If anything, it hinders you. Because someone checks you out there and sees that nobody cares, you look pathetic.
It's that fact as well. It's the fact that these services, or even if it's done in-house, and it's getting very, very limited engagement, and it's this continual thing. But we can't not be on there because people have seen us in there before. Well,
I don't care.
Have they really? Because what I'm seeing is that they don't really care about that.
They don't care about that. They don't seem to care about you over there. So either change what you're doing or just stop. It's like you get a shirt and it's kind of itchy. You're like, people see me wearing this shirt though. I can't just change. It's itchy. You're uncomfortable. Change.
Okay, so we've changed that shirt then. We've taken that shirt back and we've bought 5 or 6. I'm going somewhere with this. We bought 5 or 6, but we didn't check the size. We didn't check the color. We just knew where we were getting them from. We thought, yeah, let's buy them. So that's kind of the same as blindly placing pay-per-click ads. See, that was seamless, wasn't it?
That was beautiful.
So
beautiful
number 4 on this list is blindly placing pay-per-click ads. Why is that such a waste of money?
Because it is deceptively simple, but it's really just deceptive, right? It's so accessible, right? Talk about, again, the 2 giants, right, are Facebook, which is Facebook and Instagram, and Google Ads. Okay, so they're very deceptively simple. Anyone can do it. You just go in, you set up your campaign, click, 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 and poof, out it goes. There is a science to this. Why do you think there are people who get paid thousands of dollars a week or a month to run this? Because it's that easy that anyone could do it? No. But they set it up like that because, you know, they don't mind taking your money. But there is, you know, there's 2 main parts, right? There's the creatives and there's the targeting. Within the creatives, there's the imagery or the video or the artwork, whatever you call it, and the wording, how you do the wording, how you start it, how you end it, what you put inside it, what kind of imagery, the contrast of the imagery, if the video starts, how it ends, if you use music, if you don't, the graphical composition of the image. There are so many factors. And then now they've made the targeting a lot easier. And it used to be more complex. They've made a lot of it automated. But there's still what to do there. There's a reason people get paid for this. So when people just go in, and I've spoken to so many people like, yeah, I ran Facebook ads for a little bit, didn't do anything. Yeah, duh. Yeah, not only that, but even better is that ad is just step 1 of a sales strategy. Did you have a sales strategy? Oh, what's that? Okay. So you placed your ad, and then where did it take people? Oh, to this page. Oh, we go to that page, right? And you and I have both seen this probably hundreds, for me, thousands of times at this point. That page sells either it's a hard sell on something that has no weight, right? Like I had someone who was selling, like they weren't selling Lego. They weren't selling a known toy. They were selling like Leggy, like some pretend whatever kind of thing that no one's ever heard of. And they're running Facebook ads to this Leggy toy. And you go there and you're like, I don't know what this is. And all it is a checkout page. You're like, but I don't want to check out. Like there was no indoctrination. There was nothing. Or it goes to a page where you can't do anything really. It just takes you to the website. It's like, well, I took them to my website. Okay. Has your website been designed to convert? What's convert? Oh my God. So the ads themselves And then the pathway afterwards, I've worked with companies that have spent, multiple double digits, 20, 30, 50, $70,000 and gotten back almost nothing from it. And they've paid people to help them with this. And I'm like, it hurts. It literally hurts me because they're missing the total picture, right? And the word holistic has been commandeered and absolutely destroyed. Authenticity is following slowly. Right? Our culture takes certain words and it ruins them. But the word holistic is a good concept. Okay, marketing, branding, sales, there's a holistic body of knowledge here. And if you don't know all the moving parts and you don't understand the pieces, you will waste money because you'll do one little part. I love it when people come to me and they're like, I get this so much, I'm sure you do as well. Estie, what's one of your best marketing tactics right now? Like, what should I do? If I was going to put my money anywhere, where should I put my money right now? And I always say, put it in strategy. And they're always like, what? I said, let me just tell you what you asked me. You said, Estie, I want to bake a cake. Which ingredient is the best ingredient to make a cake with? Should I get chocolate? Should I get flour? Should I get eggs? There's cake. You're not going to get cake with eggs. But that's essentially what that question is to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a recipe.
I love a good analogy, and you're just firing them at me. It's just
I love analogies.
Fantastic.
I'll come at things with like 16 different analogies until it somehow like just starts to seep into people's brains. So I'll go in every angle because different people relate to different things, right? Some people relate more to fitness. We're talking about sneakers. Some people relate more to cooking. We'll do that. So like I'll come at things from every angle I can because I want people to understand and to own this because I hate waste. I hate waste and I love success.
Oh, like it. Okay, so number 5 on this list, siloing sales and marketing. Oh, yes. What a number 5 that is.
So again, big companies, you should just know they do this, but they struggle from it. Yeah, and I've dealt with some companies on this struggle because they get a sales department and they have a marketing department and they don't always communicate and they lose a lot of money because of that. Because marketing is out there and the way they kind of separate is marketing is kind of the inbound and sales closes the deals, right? But sometimes sales is going out there and generating, right? They're doing, let's say, outbound sales and they need certain resources for marketing, but they're not stitched. And in a small business or a micro business, you are sales and marketing. Like the business owner is typically, everyone and everything, or they're hiring. But if you hire a sales guy, but you don't have that as part of a marketing strategy, to me, the way I differentiate it is branding is your essence, right? This is how the three stitch together. Branding is your essence. Marketing is how you get out there. It's how you get people's attention and what you get their attention for. So it's also your price and your product. It's your positioning. It's all of those elements. I teach a 6P diagram, and sales is how you stitch it all together to close the deal. If you have something unique, but you can't get your message out, you're not going to close deals. If you have something unique and it serves the population and they're willing to pay for it and you've got your marketing done, you've gotten their attention, but there are a lot of people who don't know how to close the deal. And they separate it and they just try to close deals, but they don't think about how they create value on those deals, which is the marketing piece, or the unique representation, which is the branding piece. Those separations, they just lose. They just absolutely lose. And I've seen so many people hire sales guys. They don't give them the resources. They don't have their stuff branded and marketed correctly, right? That separation never works. Never. I've never seen it work. Not once.
But it always amazes me, and I suppose it's a certain mindset, but we work, or we have a career, or we go to work, or we're an employee, or whatever it might be, and there's no right or wrong in this, but in my mind, in my mindset, we go or we're on this earth, not getting too deep here, but we're on this planet, and we might as well not serve a purpose, that's the wrong phrase, but we're here to create better things, to create things that help others. So why wouldn't we help others within our own business? Why wouldn't we want that collectiveness, that togetherness, rather than well, that isn't what I do. I do this thing over here. You do that thing. When you've done that thing, just pass that over to me and I'll do my thing.
Like assembly line life. No, 1,000%. I get everyone's different. I so agree with you, right? This is why I do what I do. I want everyone to do what they love, earn buckets of money, have time for love and family. Like that is my personal. And I honestly, at this point in time, I've kind of thought of this really for a decade already, but where I stand today, I believe that everyone can and essentially should run some level of their own business. I don't care if it's just a side hustle, but we are so dependent, and people are becoming even more dependent. And I'm not going to go into politics. People are becoming even more and more dependent on external factors to help them, to provide for them. You know, I need a job. I need someone to give me a job. You can create money. You have something to give. You can create money. And technology, like, there is no one that cannot choose at any given time to make a living. And I know if someone's listening to this and they're out of work, they're going to be mad at me, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm going to tell you that you can figure out what you bring to the world, make it marketable, and go out there and sell it. There's no one who can't do that today.
But even if somebody is listening and they are mad at that statement, that anger is coming from a place of fear. It's not coming from or the fact that it hasn't been explained that is a possibility.
And it comes from a place of knowing that I'm right. I'm wrong. If I said to you, like, dude, there are Martians. I don't understand why you don't believe in the Martian, but you should get in a spaceship and go visit them. They'd be like, oh, she's nuts. Right? It doesn't make you mad. It makes you think I'm crazy. If I made you mad, it's because you know I'm right.
Yeah, that is true. I like that. Oh, wow. Okay, right. Final one, number 6.
Number 6.
Not knowing when to quit.
Yes, this is where the sinkhole really happens, right?
Okay.
So you go out there and you embark on whatever. Print ads, PPC, right? Pay-per-click advertising. I don't care what you do. Getting on radio shows, getting on podcasts. I don't care. Right? I've had people come to me, multiple 5 figures in the hole. And they'll say to me, you know, should I stop? And I'll always say, well, what are your results? And they'll say, well, it hasn't worked yet. So how long have you been doing this? About 6 months. How long should I give it? I said, minus 5.5 months would be a good amount, right? So people don't know when to quit because they get these mixed messages of like, well, it takes 3 months to test, or it takes a year or 3 years to gain traction. Dude, yes, but there's no reason you can't be profitable from day one. And if you try something that doesn't work, and one of the things we teach in our program is a calculable ROI generator. So it's before you engage in any marketing activity, you work on this calculator and you guesstimate, right? You can't know, but you guesstimate, what do you think should be the results of any activity? And just working through the process, most of the people come out like, oh, this is going to cost me $15,000. And if it goes well, I'll earn 3. Like, that's right. So you don't want to do that one, right? Or you figure one out. All right, this is going to cost me 3,000. And if it goes well, I should earn at least 15. That's worth trying. People don't think it through, right? Shiny object syndrome, right? They just go, this looks good. Let's try, see what happens. Like, oh, throwing spaghetti at the wall approach, right? Let's throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. And then they never know when to quit. They keep going and going and going. Like I said in the beginning, breadcrumbs, right? So if things are happening a little bit and you can refine it, okay, but when you put something out and you get straight up crickets, stop, reassess, do different, right? Einstein's definition of insanity, trying the same thing, expecting different results. You did pay-per-click ads for 3 months. It didn't work. Why would you do them for another 3?
But it's going to get there. It will.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If they didn't work in the first week, you did something wrong. So organic social media does take 3 months. However, in those 3 months, you should see a constant increase of engagement and potential and lead. Things should be happening. People don't understand what 3 months. 3 months might be until you really see if this platform's going to work or not. But that doesn't mean that the first week you're there, you should have 16,000 followers. But if you're getting none, and then 2 weeks in, you're getting none, and then 3 weeks in, you've gotten 2, I would stop. I would reassess. Don't try harder, try different. People don't know when to quit. You quit, and again, it's not quitting. Quitting has such a negative connotation. You switch, you rethink, you reassess, you upgrade, you transition. A better word. I feel no one likes to be a quitter. I don't like to be a quitter. It's not about quitting. It's about saying, this isn't working like this. Let me do it differently. Maybe my stuff works better on a different platform. Maybe I need another type of social media strategy. Maybe I need to leverage influencers. Maybe I need to leverage some paid ads to drive traffic to my page. Maybe I need a totally different kind of page. Maybe I need to learn more about what works here. Something. If you're doing something that's not working at all, stop. Stop.
It's the spaghetti at the wall analogy, by the way. I used that the other day. Thank you very much for that. I did reference you as well. Not taking credit for that. And what you're talking about there, the sunk costs. There's a great podcast by Seth Godin on his Akimbo podcast, and it's all about sunk costs and about the mainly people that go to university for a particular thing or college for a particular thing, and it's very, very expensive, like doctor, dentist, lawyer, whatever it might be, and then they get into that career and realize that it's not for them, but because they've spent thousands and thousands, they feel like they have to stay in that. And that's exactly what you're saying then.
And I think this is the same thing, right? They're like, I've already put so much money into this, I can't stop now. Oh, because you want to spend more?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what reminds me of? Like when you go to the grocery store and they're always like, buy 2, get 1 free, or buy 3. I think buy 3, get 1 free is my favorite. Because I don't need 3. I don't need 4. I needed 1.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes like I'll go, and Target does this a lot. It's like, I think it's a get something like that. And I'll be standing in the aisle, and I remember this happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm like standing in the aisle, and it's like, buy 3 of any of these products, get a $5 gift card. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, but I only need 2 of these. I'm standing, I'm trying to figure out what third thing. I'm like, oh my God. And then when I buy the third thing, I've spent more than the $5 I've saved, by the way. Okay, and I didn't need it, and I'm not going to use it for months. I'm just going to get 2 of the same thing that I only needed 1 of, and maybe I'll never use it. But that's the same thing. It's exactly, well, I'm already getting 2. I'm already getting 2. So why would I not get the third and get my gift card? Because it's wasting my life. I don't need it. And I've just spent an extra $15 to get back 5. What?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's literally what you do. You spend $15 to get back 5. Who won? Target. Duh. They won.
They always win.
They always win.
The house always wins.
The house always wins. It's how it's right. Oh my God, I met the coolest gambling guy the other day. The house always wins. Because there's a whole science to it, though, which is very cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. All that kind of stuff. The whole Vegas thing.
Oh, it's all right.
The science and all that kind of stuff behind it. Yeah. Amazing.
People go and it's like, what do you think this is? Like a charity event? Do you think they're there so you could like get money? Like, what do you think this is?
Why do you think these are ginormous hotels with ginormous lavish things on the walls and everything?
Like, oh, you think they're here to give you money? Oh, for me, it's entertainment, right? You spend $100 going out to a concert, to a movie. If you're going to go to a casino, the same $100. You lose it, you get it back, you get back more. It's done.
Yeah.
I know for real gamblers, it's completely different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's the concept is if it's entertainment, it's entertainment. If you think you're really going to get money over time, no one does.
Yeah, completely.
You always end up spending more than you end up getting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've gone through the 6. So the final question really before we finish with some quick fire questions is, what's the biggest money waste you're seeing in marketing like right now, and how can we avoid that?
Let me think about it. I'm going to say hiring wrong. I'm going to say hiring wrong because, a lot of people are feeling a little lost, a little desperate. And I believe that all people are essentially good. Yeah, there are a couple of bad apples out there, but majority of people are good. They mean well. They want to help. And there's so many, I'll call them micro marketers. And they mean well, but they usually fall into one of 3 categories. And then there's me. So category 1, I will call them morons. And I say that as a term of endearment. They tried something once and it worked spectacularly well. They have no idea how or why, but they now consider themselves an absolute genius at whatever this thing is. And then they go and sell this service, or they watch some YouTube videos on it. You can't tell you how many people I've met and even interviewed like this, where they've watched some YouTube videos on SEO and they're like, this is not that hard. I could do this. And I'm sorry, you're a moron. Like you don't have any clue what you don't know. Right? Just a little bit, and they're not that expensive, and people waste huge amounts of money on those people, and they mean well. They think they know what they're talking about. They don't. So that's one. The other category I call the industry experts. And the industry experts are people, they do marketing for chiropractors, marketing for pianists, marketing for doctors, marketing for construction, right? They're typically someone in that industry. They themselves are a chiropractor, photographer, whatever it is. They crack the marketing code. They've got an online program, one-on-one coaching, special VIP services, and they will get you where they got themselves. And they have these amazing testimonials of people, other chiropractors and photographers have gone through their program. It's amazing. And it only works when the people come in, because again, they don't know what they don't know. They didn't study marketing as a discipline, right? They figure one thing out that worked for them that they think should now work for everyone. It works for people who have similar assets, similar personality, similar art, and similar everything. So they follow this pathway and they're able to walk down that exact same path and it works. Majority of people, it absolutely doesn't work for. And they come out and they don't understand anything more. They just try exactly what this little path is, and the path doesn't work, and again, they mean well. But that's another huge amount of money wasted. I had a chiropractor here in LA who had hired, I don't know, let's say from like Nowheresville, Kentucky, you know, one of these like marketing for chiropractors companies. And they were sending him these things. And I look, I'm like, your office is in Beverly Hills, dude. This is Kentucky stuff that you're trying to use in Beverly Hills. You can't do that. Because they would send these like ready-made marketing assets. And he would use them, and you're supposed to just like, you know, change your name and change your information. I'm like, you can't do this. But they don't realize. And then the third category is what I call a genius tactician. And people are legit geniuses. They really know Facebook ads. They really know Instagram. They really know direct mail. They really know direct sales. They really know this one specific tactic in marketing. The problem is a tactic is just one ingredient in a recipe. You have everything else lined up, it'll work for you. Now these people, if it doesn't work for you, it's obviously you because it works for others, right? So they'll come in, they'll do something with someone, it'll work fantastic. Someone else, it won't work fantastic. As far as they're concerned, it's you, not them, right? Because they're doing the same thing. If it worked here, why shouldn't it work there? They just don't know the bigger picture. Again, innocent. They just don't know what they don't know. Very few people know the journey. So I'm a generalist. I'm a marketing generalist. Business school, I've been doing this for over a decade. Very few people have. And I've worked with pretty much every industry that exists. Like I'll meet people on the street, like, oh yeah, I'm in, and they'll say like some random thing. And I'm like, okay, and what does that mean? And they'll tell me like, oh, so it's this, and they just look at me like, no one knows my business. Dude, I've worked with there's nothing. And when you can see it, that broad perspective, you've just got to educate yourself. You've got to educate yourself. What are all the moving parts of marketing? What makes a marketing strategy? Then go ahead and hire to your heart's content. Plug in the right people in the right places. I don't need you to do it. I sat with the guy the other day. He's like, Estie, I don't want to learn this. I said, you just need to learn it enough that you hire the right people. It's a much larger company. I just need you to learn it enough that you hire correctly. That's it. I don't need you writing the sales script. I need you understanding what goes into a sales script so that when someone writes it, you know if it was done properly. That's all I need.
When you hire then, do you go down a traditional route? So would you ask for a CV and then do an interview, or what do you look for?
So it really depends what you need, right? Are you hiring marketing staff? Are you hiring a freelancer to help with something? Are you doing on a per project? Right. So for me, we run a consulting company. So the way I hire is I hire people that are going to work for me, with me, and serve others. It's very different than if you are the business hiring someone to do marketing for you. So let's say we're talking about the latter, right? If you're hiring, are we talking about marketers hiring other marketers to work with them? Or are we talking about a business hiring marketers to help them?
I'm just talking about your hiring style.
For me specifically? So I do always look at a CV because I read the white space on resumes. Like I'll literally look at a resume and be like, oh, she got divorced. And people say to me like, how did you, I'm like, it's right there in the white space. You didn't see it, but it's just very obvious to me. And I'm always right. So I've been hiring for 15, almost 20 years now. Like sometimes you do something so long, it's just you. So for me personally, I always get a CV because even just the formatting on the CV tells me something. Right? So I don't read just the words. I read the white space, the layout, what is on it, what have they chosen to represent, what have they chosen to leave out? Sometimes it's very obvious that certain things are left out of a CV. So I get a lot just from reading the CV. And then I always do, depending on the position, there's some sort of a trial, if you will. Meaning if I'm hiring for admin, I'll have them do a couple admin tasks, right? Take a typing test, build me a spreadsheet. And I have very specific things that I put out there, some specific questions that help me filter for personality. Again, I'm doing this a long time. And before I'll even meet them, right? If I'm hiring a designer, I'll actually have them do a trial design project. but very short. I'll give them something micro, because people send in these design portfolios and they're stunning and they're so professional. But sometimes they come from school, sometimes they come from other work experience where they were working with other partners. It's not what they're actually capable of at all. So I'll give them a brand new thing. I'll tell them to clock it because I want to know how long it takes them also. Because if you make this stunning, but it's taking you 16 hours, you can't work for me. We service micro businesses. Okay, like we are not the 16 hours to make a flyer type of company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I go through that and then I just meet them to see if personality resonates, right? Do we have rapport? Can we get along? Do you fit kind of how I see the world, how I want us to serve? Do you have that mindset? You know, is this the right fit for you right now? I always like people to be in the ideal place at the ideal time. Now, someone says to me, you know, yeah, like this job is good for me right now. Ultimately, I want to whatever, but right now, this is exactly what I'm like, oh, no. I want you to be doing this because this is exactly, because people, when they do what they love, when you do what you enjoy, where you are, where you want to be, it's completely different.
Yep.
So to me, there's so many factors, but they all stitch together.
Cool.
And I would just say, you know, in terms of not wasting money on hires, we also I hire fast, fire fast, right? So we put people through an early trial period. I don't want to say it's trial by fire because it's not, but it's really looking at anyone you hire early on to see, again, breadcrumbs, right? Same as anything you're doing. I don't need it to be perfect on day one. I don't expect it to be perfect on day one or on day 21, but I expect to see it getting better, not worse.
And you get that feeling, and you can tell, like you said, you've been doing this for years, so it'll be more obvious to somebody that's done that. But you can tell, and you can tell by the attitude and the questions they ask and how they not present themselves in terms of shirt and tie, but how they come across, like you're saying, sloping shoulders or tall and proud and that kind of stuff. And it's the white space, not just the work; it's the white space in between the work. Absolutely,
100%. And it's also one of the things we always look for is a can-do attitude instead of what I call a can-don't attitude. So yeah, I could do that, but I'm not sure. I don't know how. I call it a can-don't. I could do that, but I don't know what, when, if. I was like, nah.
Okay. I want to finish. I'm conscious of time, and I've taken up loads of your time, and I really do appreciate it. But I just want to finish with some quick fire questions, if that's okay.
I'm ready.
Right. What was the last thing you remember Googling?
So my phone decided to go to 5D 2 days ago, transitioned off the grid, out of the matrix. And I've used Android phones for the last forever. And I decided, hey, apparently it's time for a change. Universe decided to take my Android. I'm going to get an iPhone. So the last thing that I Googled was a few hours ago, how do I get my WhatsApp backups from Google Drive onto an iPhone? That's the last thing I Googled. And by the way, the answers are pathetic. It doesn't look like it.
Okay.
It's not looking promising.
Yeah, okay. That's probably the geekiest answer I've had to that question, but I love it.
I am a tech geek. I was a CIO, Chief Information Officer. I do database architecture. I write code.
Love it. Love it. What's the most important thing to know about marketing right now? You probably said it with the breadcrumbs.
We probably said it, but I would say, if I'm going to give a different answer, you need much less than you think you need.
Yeah, okay.
People think they need much more. The most important thing to know is you need much less. Start much smaller than you think you need to start.
And final two questions. Number one, why do you love what you do?
Because putting light in other people's eyes puts light in mine.
Yes. And final question, most important question. If people want to find out more about you, what you do, how you can help them, how they can listen to you all day long, because I know I could, where are you pointing them?
So I actually would love to give a free gift if you let me.
Okay.
And if people go to estierand.com/free gift, I know it's a little straightforward, estierand.com/free gift, they will find access to my 5-day marketing success challenge. So you get to listen to a whole bunch more of me. It's 5 days, 15 minutes a day, but it's built as a comprehensive program. We built it as a few $100 program to sell as a starter for some of our other stuff. And at the moment it's there and it's free. Could be someone listens to this later, something else will be there, but there's always something cool at estierand.com/free gift. And right now you will find a 5-day marketing success challenge that will give you the clarity and confidence to market yourself successfully. It goes through core and branding, goes through targeting, 2 a.m. problem, goes through social media, how to join the parties, which parties, how to choose the platforms, how to do a verbal pitch, and how to use your swan strength to reach your bees, which I mentioned but didn't get to go through. It's all in there.
Yeah, and I don't actually know what that is. I'll find it out, but maybe that's for another episode, because got to get you back on, because there's so much that, like I say, I could listen to you all day. There's so much that we haven't covered. But finally, from me, Estie, thank you so much for joining me. Absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about this stuff.